let's really recap quickly centripetal force and centripetal acceleration. So centripetal acceleration is the acceleration for circular motion. We said it's always towards the center of the circle, and it's always changing direction for the velocity. So if we're traveling around something like this, we have a tangential velocity forward. The centripetal acceleration is towards the center. And the reason it's towards the center is because it's constantly changing the direction of the velocity. So the velocity is going to the right, and then it bends it in towards the center, which bends it this way. Now it's going this direction. Okay? Then it bends it towards the center again. Now it's going this direction. Bends it towards the center again. And you can kind of see it makes this pinwheel type pattern as it's constantly bending the velocity in a new direction. But notice that the direction of the centripetal acceleration is always in. It's always towards the center of motion. Okay? So it's always towards the center of motion, and it's causing a direction change, not a speed change. Okay? Centripetal force, it's the force that causes centripetal acceleration. It's a net force. Okay, it's a net force. And it's always towards the center, just like centripetal acceleration is. It's caused by one of the forces from last unit. So it's caused by tension or friction or applied force or something like that, gravity. All right, I want you guys to answer number 5 here. So there's 2 things I want you to answer about 5. First thing I want to know is 365 and a quarter days is a year, 24 hours is a day. Which of these is rotation and which is revolution? Go ahead and explain which is which. And then, so which is rotation, which is revolution? And why? And then I want you to use the pig demo to explain the difference between tangential and angular, or tangential and rotational. They're the same idea. Velocity. Okay, so explain a year or a day, which is which, rotation, revolution, and tangential and rotational velocity or angular velocity. What's the difference between them? Use the pig demo as the way to describe that. Okay, so go ahead and do those 2 real quick. So rotation is a day, revolution is a year. How do you know, Cannon? Right, it's going around the sun as opposed to going around itself. Right? So the Earth orbits the sun, that's revolution. The Earth orbits itself, rotates around itself, that's a day. So rotation is a day, revolution's a year. Okay. Tangential versus rotational velocity. So thinking about the pig, how would you describe the differences between those? So what about the motion is rotational? What's tangential? Lisa, what do you think?
Well, I said that tangential speed measures more rotates in front.
Yeah.
I said rotational velocity measures the rate of how many full rotations or revolutions are in.
Yeah, so the rotational velocity measures how quickly it rotates or revolves.
What does that say?
Yeah, rotational or angular. So it measures how quickly it rotates or revolves. And we measure that in RPMs or radians per second. And tangential is just going to measure how fast it goes. And that's measured in meters per second. So the tangential velocity is just what's the speed of the pig? How fast is the pig going? So distance over time. Whereas rotational velocity is how fast it's orbiting, how fast it's rotating around the circle. And that's going to be in RPMs or radians per second. So this is an angular measurement, an angular speed, how fast it goes around. Tangential is a linear speed. It's how fast it goes. So this is what the speedometer says. This is what you observe, how many times it goes around in an amount of time. Okay? Any questions on those?